Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Last night I saw Avengers Endgame at the cinema in 3D, and you are here to watch my full review of Avengers Endgame. So seeing as it's been a while since the movie released, I'm not going to make a spoiler-free and spoiler review. I'm not doing two separate parts, but this will pretty much be a spoiler review. I'll share a few quick spoiler-free thoughts at the beginning, but the majority of this video will be spoiler territory. So yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, do leave the video, please. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about, I'll share some of my non-spoiler thoughts. So yeah, I'll have some timestamps down in the description below if you do not want to hear the spoilers or if you just want to skip ahead to the spoiler part. But yeah, anyways, for some non-spoiler thoughts, I thought the movie was amazing for the most part, and I think it was great because it had already gotten all the crossover introductions out of the way, as all of that had been introduced in Avengers Infinity War, and this movie instead explored some different plots as well. Well, Infinity War was mainly a story about Thanos. This one was definitely more from the hero's point of view, and we got to see a variety of the heroes who, some of the heroes who had kind of been missing from Infinity War, we got to see more of their perspective in this movie. This movie also does share some pretty cool concepts as well. These concepts are integral to the plot, and it also brings back, again, these said concepts are brought back from movies in the past. This movie is definitely a trip down memory lane, as it definitely explores some of the elements from past MCU movies, and all in all, it is an amazing conclusion. It brings back, again, it is a trip down memory lane, and it has awesome character development as well. The plot twists and deaths in this movie are amazing, and I thought they were just done really well for the most part. So all in all, this movie was amazing, and yeah, you could use the timestamp down in the description below to skip ahead to my final rating. Now, we are officially entering spoiler territory, so a reminder, please do leave the video or go ahead to that timestamp if you do not want to receive spoilers. But yeah, moving on to spoilers, this movie still with the spoilers, it was really shocking, and I thought the plot, for the most part, really did stand out more than it did with Infinity War. With Infinity War, you had a lot of different subplots and such, but with this one, there's just one main plot for the most part, but with different aspects. I thought for the most part, the beginning of the movie, the very beginning with where they hunt down Thanos, was pretty good for the most part. And I thought Thanos getting beheaded was, it was a good idea to go ahead with that 5-year time skip. But then stuff really did get very slow for the next hour or so. A little too slow for my comfort. I felt like the movie was very, very slow throughout the first hour, and just kind of showing the heroes rebuilding and such, but a little bit too slow, and it just kind of dragged out a little bit too long, although the purpose of it was good. Now, moving on to the middle of the movie, this is definitely one of the best parts and the biggest trip down memory lane, in which we actually see the Avengers going back in time and exploring scenes from their past movies to recover the stones. I thought all of these were very cool. In particular, I especially love the Captain America chasing after the, I think, Mind Stone it was, and battling his own 2012 version of himself. I thought that was pretty funny, and I thought it was well done as well. So yeah, I thought the Time Stone was a bit boring, but the Soul Stone is also pretty good as well, and I think it was a good idea to kill off Black Widow's character. No offense or anything, but her character is kind of useless compared to all the other Avengers who have superpowers and super machines and stuff. And Black Widow, just with a gun, she might work well in a spy movie, but I don't know if she really did work that well in Avengers. Don't get me wrong, I like her character, but I don't think she just has enough. She's not powerful enough to take out Thanos. So I do think that actually killing off her character was a good idea. It felt a little bit too dramatic, but it was a good scene as well. Now, moving on to actually what happened with Thanos and his return to the present. That was an amazing idea, and I loved seeing Nebula's 2014 version, and it's, the change through her character is very evident. But yeah, I thought Thanos' return after, of course, Thanos was killed in the beginning of the film, Thanos' return to the 2023 was pretty awesome, and them actually using the future Nebula's memories and all of that stuff was really good for the most part. I thought also Thanos was really cool in this film, although I thought he was definitely better in Infinity War. Thanos, just trying to keep his work from not getting erased and reversed was a great idea, and I really loved that they brought him back for one final time. The idea of the Stark Gauntlet was also very cool. And let's face it, we all knew that all these heroes would get brought back, although it would have been pretty cool if they hadn't been brought back as well. I'm still glad that some heroes are still dead, like the version of Gamora that we know, and Vision, of course. Although there is definitely some confusion with Gamora as well as to what exactly happened to her after her 2014 version did come to the present. We don't really get a conclusion with that, and I would have liked a little bit more of a conclusion with what exactly does happen to Gamora following her travel to the present. But yeah, another thing about this movie that really did irk me was Captain Marvel. I felt like she was fine in her own standalone movie, although a bit overpowered. And that was fine for her own movie, but I did not like what they did with her in this movie. Her haircut, and I don't know if anyone else thinks this, her haircut did kind of feel like a political movement because, of course, all the other girl heroes have long hair and we need one to have short hair. So yeah, that did feel very forced and not necessary at all. And I really didn't like her just zooming through Thanos' ship and destroying it. Again, it worked fine in her own standalone movie, but this was some real bullcrap. But yeah, I really didn't like that at all. I also like the idea of Thanos just like laying down and chilling after he accomplished his goal, not doing fights or anything like that. I found the scene of him just making the soup to be pretty funny. Another problem I did have with this film was overweight Thor. I thought it was funny at first, the drunken alcoholic Thor raging at New Master 69. That was pretty funny to start off with, but I really would have expected him to just like get buff again. I guess I was kind of expecting him to pick up his hammer and then suddenly he would get ripped again. But yeah, it's probably for the better that didn't happen because that would have been total bullcrap. But yeah, anyways, I would have hoped that he would have worked out or at least gotten back into the groove of things to actually. I mean, I just can't take him seriously as overweight Thor with a gigantic beard and stuff. Another great thing about the film that I really loved was the final Avengers Assemble scene with all the armies, the masters of the mystic arts, the Wakandans, the Asgardians. I thought that was awesome. This movie also, like the last one, has some great comedy as well. The Marvel movies just in general do an amazing job of balancing action and seriousness with actual comedy as well. And that was again present in this film for the most part. I also liked Professor Hulk. Again, it is the best of both worlds, as he said himself, the brain and the brawn, and I thought it was an amazing idea to actually go ahead with this, although I would have liked a little more explanation as to how it actually did happen. And yeah, more complaints about Captain Marvel. I felt like she was just an ex machina machine in this movie, and she just showed up at the most convenient points in order to save everyone. Would have liked some more time with Tony and Nebula in space, rather than just getting that out of the way in 2 minutes. They shouldn't have made such a big deal out of it. Even just in the end, her showing up to destroy the ship and Thanos, it's just not convincing at all, and it just doesn't really add that much to her character. I also love the scenes with Tony Stark and his daughter. I thought it was a good idea to have him actually develop his own life during the time skip. So yeah, that definitely was done well for the most part. But yeah, all in all, this movie was amazing. However, I would have to say that Infinity War is just a little bit better. And Infinity War had an amazing ending. I don't think Endgame can top that. And yeah, speaking of endings, this movie, Iron Man's death was great. I thought the plot twist was awesome. A lot of people were expecting Captain America to bite it because he's not actually coming back, the actor. But yeah, no, Iron Man is the one who dies, and I thought they gave him a great farewell and a great goodbye. I thought that scene was very nice. It wasn't a big sacrifice. It was just a quiet scene and a very nice funeral for him as well. Captain America's fate was also a good idea as well, although there is some confusion with that. I mean, wouldn't people in the 1940s be assuming that Captain America is missing? I mean, how can there be two Captain Americas, one in the ice and one just there? Yeah, it didn't really make sense. And again, time travel is hard to explain, so props to movies when they are able to explain it. But yeah, I would have to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10 or a 95%, with Infinity War probably getting a 97%. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and I will see you next time.